like this, or you can be sitting with your feet parallel to each other. Either way, we're going to use the block. So if you're cross-legged, it'll go under your sit bones like this, and then your feet will come down in a cross-legged position, and this might be more comfortable if sitting is hard on the ground, because it lifts your hips up a little bit and gives you a little bit more support. You could even, like right now, I have mine on the lowest setting. You can also flip it up to the second setting, which would be like this, to give you even more space to sit up. That might be nicer. If you're doing feet parallel, I always use it on the second setting for feet parallel. And you can just come like this. Actually flip it this way. And it'll give you more space in between your feet and your bottom. You can also take one of your pillows, if you would like, and give you even more space to sit with your feet parallel, or even with them cross-legged. Okay, so go ahead and find yourself in a seated position towards the front of your mat, or just anywhere on your mat. You will probably have your mat facing like the same way we had it set up last time. And we're going to start with some grounding. So find yourself in a seated position so that you feel supported by the ground under you, and your hands come to your knees. They could be faced up, they could be face down, they could be closer to you, just anywhere that is touching. We don't want like hands all over the place. So anywhere that feels grounded, touching your lap. Once you get to that seated position, we will start with some box breathing, which we also did last time we were together. So start to pay attention now to your breath as it is naturally flowing in and out of your body. And maybe it will start to slow down. Come into our box breathing. On your next exhale, you'll exhale naturally, and then you'll inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 5 legs will be wide. Your knees might be as wide as the mat, and your feet will touch, and your hands will come down to the ground, and your forehead to the ground. Now that we have blocks, your forehead might come to a block to help support you more if you can't quite get all the way down to the ground. Your block can also come underneath your bottom, and maybe your forehead does come to the ground. Whichever one is easier to you, you'll find yourself in some sort of child's pose. Again, breathing in your child's pose, nice and slowly. On your next inhale, your left hand comes over your right hand and to your right side. Breathing into that left lung. On your next exhale, your hands will come to center. Your left hand will come to be on the left side of your mat, almost off your mat. Your right hand similarly on top of your left. And then sink in to continue breathing into your right lung. However far to the side as you can make it, might be very subtle, just a little bit to the side, or it might be completely to the side of the mat. Next exhale, come to center. Possibly notice how this child's pose is different than the child's pose that you started class with. And then inhale to tabletop. In this tabletop, we're going to be doing some cat-cows. So as you inhale, your belly will drop for cow. And then exhale, your back will round for cat. In your own time, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. When you inhale, you're trying to pull your shoulder blades together. Push your collarbones forward, possibly even look up. And then when you exhale, you're extending your shoulder blades away from each other so that you really feel that pop out of your chest on the exhales. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, rounding, possibly looking at your belly button or towards your belly button. Inhale, up. You might try some sideways to stretch out those sides a little bit more. Or some push backs to see if you can get closer to your child's pose. On your next inhale, come to a neutral tabletop position. So your back is flat, your hands are underneath your shoulders, and your knees are underneath your hips. We're going to find ourselves on our stomach. You might step your knees back a little bit so that you're in a diagonal, closer to a diagonal position. I have to tug my elbows because they are hyper extended, but push your elbows towards the back and come down slowly to the ground as in a modified push-up, or you can come down as a wave, so your hips will come down, your stomach will come down, and then your chest can come down. Once we're on the ground, we'll start with some baby cobras. Our hands come underneath our shoulders. Our feet are on the ground. Feet can be as far apart as they need to be comfortable on the ground, but our shoelace tops should be touching the ground. We'll exhale to prepare, and then on your next inhale, lift your chest off of the ground. Exhale down. On your next inhale, lift, same thing. You should be feeling this in between your shoulder blades. Your elbows tucked back, tucked back, and we're feeling all of it in our shoulder blades. Exhale down. Maybe an inhale in between. Inhale, come up again. On this one, maybe try to see if you can take your hands off of the ground and still be pushing forward with your front of your chest while your back flexes. Or with your hands down, you might push a little bit more to get some more stretch. Also, we're not arching our back totally like this, and we're not looking up towards the sky. Gaze is down towards the front of your mat. We don't need to crick our neck. On the exhale, you can come down. That was kind of a long explanation. You might already have been down. Take a minute, a couple of breaths to reset your back before we go on to our next back preparation. For our next back preparation, our hands will come out in front of us. Our feet are still behind us, and our head is on the mat, face down. You can lift your head for this, or you can leave it on the mat. You're going to exhale, and then inhale. Bring your left foot and your right hand up. Exhale down. Now your left foot and your your left hand and your right foot up. Exhale down. You can do this at your own time. Down. Try to go for like 8 reps. Make sure you're even on both sides. Head will be down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders and push back the thighs as you stretch out that back. Backward down. And on your inhale, you can roll up, back up to tabletop. Let's do some more cat-cows to rinse out that back workout we just did. So inhale, look up. Exhale, round your back. Your back might feel different. Mine certainly does. Since the first time we did some cat-cows. Exhale, look up. Inhale, look up. Exhale, back. Nice. Let's also do some twists. So our left hand will stay on the ground. Our right hand will come up as much as possible. And we'll thread the needle in between our hand and our armpit, like this. And then drop your shoulder to the ground. This is another good place to use your block. You can stay up if you want to, if that's how much space you have. Or you can put your block down, thread the needle, and your head comes to rest on the block. Hopefully this is stretching out our back a little bit. We'll stay for 3 breaths, so one more breath. On your next inhale, reach, wave goodbye to that stretch, and your hand will swim down. Your left hand will come up on the inhale. Exhale to twist, possibly having that block there for you. Exhale, thread the needle. Comes up, waves goodbye to that stretch, and hands will come to rest at tabletop underneath your arms. On your next inhale, lift your knees off of the ground for a moment, and then push your hips up, back, and down for downward facing dog. Head on pushing our chest back towards our thighs, looking in between our feet back towards the back of the room, and trying to stay with those nice deep breaths in and out of our nose. On the next exhale, you're going to walk to the top of your mat and find yourself in a forward fold. So your feet will come towards the bottom of your mat. Your feet might rest on your knees with a nice healthy bend in them. They might come towards the ground. Or, now that we have blocks, they can come to your blocks. Nice healthy bend. Trying to drop the top of your head to the back of the room. Even if your knees are like this, okay? The top of your head has to be like this. We're trying to release our lower back. From here, the blocks will come to the side. And as we breathe in, lift our hands up, and we'll be in a standing position. Breathe out, hands come down to the mat, towards the mat. In, halfway lift, meaning that our back will come up straight, parallel to the ground, and our hands will come to our knees. Out, feet, hands back towards the mat, and our feet will come back into a plank pose. We'll breathe in here, and then we'll drop our knees, and either in a wave or in a push-up, down to the ground. In, cobra, and then tuck your toes out, downwards facing dog. On the next inhale, walk forward. Exhale in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, hands raised to above our head. Let's take an extra breath here. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale to expand your lungs. Exhale to fold down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back to plank. Inhale here, possibly drop your knees down. Exhale, push up push up arms, but we're coming down to the ground on the exhale. And then on the inhale, reaching our chest up, upwards, dog or cobra. Tuck your toes, exhale, downwards facing dog. On the inhale, walk it forward, so you're in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Exhale here to rest. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands above our head. We'll stop here to breathe.
I let my music take me where my heart wants to go.
Inhale to prepare. Exhale, sweep your arms down to plank. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back to plank. Inhale, your knees might drop. Exhale, down, low. And then inhale, back up to high. Again, maybe on your knees, maybe as a weight. Exhale, downwards facing dog. On your inhale, step your feet forward until you are in a forwards facing fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands up above our head. Exhale, hands can come to our sides. Maybe you take a sip of water. That was 3. Sun salutation, 8. Stretch out, maybe do. Someone called this emptying shirt sleeves. This might feel nice after so much forward stuff. Cool. Okay, back to the top of our mat. And we're going to make sure that our blocks are close by on the highest setting. So I think to prepare, you should put them like this at the top of your mat on the highest setting. 1 towards the left, 1 towards the right. So we'll use them soon. for our peak pose, which is what we're getting at here. So hands will come up, and we'll find ourselves in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, again, back to plank. Maybe coming down in a wave on the exhale. And then inhale, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes. Downwards facing dog. Now in this downwards facing dog, we're going to take our right foot, this is a little bit different, and bring it in between our two hands and lift to crescent. Stop here for a couple of breaths. When we're in crescent, our feet are on train tracks. So see how this foot, my left foot, is underneath my left hip. And my right foot is underneath my right hip. It does not have to be like you're on a tightrope, okay? Because this hurts for balance. Instead, like this, nice wide stance. Our front leg is bent, but it doesn't, we're not like collapsing, okay? Instead, our front leg is bent, and our back leg, our ankle, and our heel is pushing to power our hips to be in line with each other. So you might bring your hands to your hips so that you can tell that they are facing forward, okay? Hands can then come up, hands can stay at heart center, hands can stay here. Any bend in the front leg is fine. If your knees come over your foot, that's fine. That is not the most dangerous thing. It happens when you go up and down stairs. Everything is fine. A little bit of bend is also good. You might feel it in your hip flexor here. You might feel it, your front leg is working over something. Okay? So, we'll inhale here, and then we'll exhale. Hands will come back down, and our foot will come straight back to downwards facing dog. Left foot comes in between both hands. If your foot doesn't come all the way between your hands, only here, you might have to step it until it gets a little bit closer to in between your hands. I like to spread my feet while I'm still down on the ground. Then inhale to come up to crescent on the other side. Again, pushing with your back leg to square your hips as much as possible. And then your front leg is bent to any degree. It can be all the way down at close to 90, or it can just be here, bent a little bit. We'll take a couple breaths here. Whew. This side might feel different than the other. Nice. We'll bring our hands to frame our front foot, step our foot back, and find ourselves back in our downwards facing dog. You might stretch out, you might shake your head a little bit, breathe out, pushing your chest towards your feet. And then walk your hands forward so that you're in a forward facing fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up to stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, we'll come to plank. We'll inhale to stay or drop our knees, and then exhale to the vinyasa of our choice. It could be a cat-cow, it could be a cobra, it could be chaturanga, for upwards facing dog, back down to downwards facing dog. Take a breath here, maybe sigh it out. Right leg will come forward, in between, spread out so you're on train tracks. And you're coming up to crescent lunge. Now for this next part, you might want to bring your back foot, your left leg, a little bit closer to your right, because we are going to try warrior 3, okay? From here, our back foot might be a little bit closer. Our hands will come down to the blocks in front of us. You might need to scooch them a little bit closer to you. And our left leg will come up towards the sky. I usually have to then bring my blocks a little further away from my body because my torso is long. Our hands are firmly on our blocks. Our back feels very similar to how it felt when we were doing those Supermans and the Cobras earlier. And our back leg, our toes are dialed down towards the ground in an effort to keep our hips square, much like in crescent lunge. So, squeeze in between your shoulder blades to bring your front chest up, and then squeeze into flex your hamstrings to bring your back leg down. This leg, your standing leg, might also want to have a little bend in it. We'll take one more inhale, and then we'll slowly bring that back leg down to the earth and come back into crescent lunge. From here, it might feel nice to come into warrior two. So our back foot will turn so that it is parallel to the back of the mat, and our weight is mostly on the outer edge. And then our front foot will still be facing forward with our knee dialed towards our foot. And just breathe. We'll do one breath here, out, and in. And then on your next inhale, cartwheel your hands down to that front leg and come right back into downwards facing dog. Shake out your head, stretch your chest towards your feet, whatever feels good to you in this downwards facing dog. Take your left foot forward in between both of your hands. Spread your feet out and come up into crescent warrior on this side. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Inhale to prepare. And then exhale, push forward. Hands will come to the block. Back foot will come up. And our chest will rise up with our left foot down, right leg up. We'll try to stay for like 5 breaths in this warrior 3. But we might not make it 5 breaths. It's totally fine. Generous bend in our down leg. Feet, toes towards the ground. Hamstring nice and high. Don't forget about your breathing here. If you're balancing and not breathing, we're still breathing. On the next exhale, bend that front leg. Legs will come, back leg will come gently back to the earth, and we'll be in crescent. Exhale to warrior 2 on this side. Same thing. Back leg is parallel to the back of the mat. Heel is in line with the arch. Front knee is bent as much as you want. It doesn't need to be, it could be just this much. Or it can be more, but it might feel nice in your hips after all of that forward-facing stuff. Inhale, we'll exhale, and then we will swim our arms forward and meet back in downward facing dog. From here, our knees will drop. We're back in table. Maybe take a breath, maybe get a sip of water, because that was our peak pose. And hopefully it felt like, woo, we did it. We warmed up our back. And we lifted our leg up in the air. Great, let's meet back in tabletop. And similarly to the same thing that we started class with, we will reach our right arm up and we will thread in between our body and the ground and just drop to the ground. And this time we'll stay for a little bit longer and really breathe into that back in between the shoulder blades. You might find that you're able to get your back of your head to twist onto the ground. You might bring your top hand, the left hand, forward in the front of your mat, or your left hand can come to the hip crease of your right side, if that feels good. Or it can just stay right next to you. You can do the block thing, whichever feels good after working your back. On your next exhale, bring your left hand under your left shoulder. Your right hand comes back up and down to the earth. Left hand up and thread it underneath your right arm. Similar options for top hand can come forward in front of you or to your hip crease. On next exhale, bring your right hand to underneath your right shoulder, and inhale your left arm up, and exhale back down to position. Now, we'll crawl our feet forward and we'll find ourselves on our mat. That might have been bring your feet to the side. Either way, our butt's coming to the mat. And we're bringing our backs down to the mat as well. We're setting up for 3 bridges. You might want your your block for this. So bring your block to where you can access it close to your side. For the bridge, our feet will come closer to the backs of our thighs. Now, as mentioned earlier, my torso is quite long, so they don't come totally to touch the back of my thigh, but knees up towards the sky, feet flat on the ground, like you're lying down with your knees up. You'll exhale, and then on your inhale, you'll push your hips up towards the sky. You do this by actually putting your weight in your heels. So you're pushing in your heels, making your hips rise towards the sky, flexing your glutes. You might take your block on the lowest setting and place it right underneath your hips, or on the second to highest setting, placing it underneath your hips. You can breathe here. If you have no block, breathe in, and then on an exhale, you'll slowly come down. If you have the block, you might want to just leave it there and not do the up, down, if that feels good to you, or if you want to release for a moment, you can. On the next inhale, lift your hips by pushing into your feet. Try to magnetize your knees closer together, but they don't have to be like touching each other. Maybe your block is under you to support you. And then inhale, bring your back towards the ground. On this next bridge, we're definitely bringing our block under us in the lowest setting, so lift up your butt. Your block will come underneath your sit bones on the lowest setting, and your feet will come up towards the sky. So in this case, having it on the highest setting might actually make it more challenging. Having it on the lowest setting might feel really nice, or you could put a pillow underneath, and your feet will come up. As your feet are up in the sky, we're trying not to do any effort, almost like our muscles are just like hanging off of our body. And then you can slowly bring your feet back to the ground, lift up your hips, and bring your block out from under you. We also need the strap. So with the strap, you're going to take it, hook it so that it's on the middle part of your foot. And again, with a bend, okay, or with your legs straight. Bottom leg will be bent and foot on the ground, and then we'll do a slight hamstring stretch with the strap. This doesn't have to be like the most extreme thing you've ever done. It's kind of relaxing here. Once you're finished with the right foot, or whichever foot you chose to do first, you can switch feet for a couple of breaths. Now bring your feet to the ground. Stretch them out in front of you. Your hands will come to the ground. You might need to do some wiggles if there's any last stretch you need to do before we get into Shavasana. Your hands will come down to the ground next to you, face up. Your feet will come as wide as your mat, and you'll find yourself in Shavasana.
Collecting strange perfections in any stranger I choose. Would things be easier if there was a right way? Honey, there is no right way. So I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. There's an art to life's distraction. I guess any thrill will do. Would things be easier if there was a right way? Honey, there is no right way. And so I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I wake at the first cringe of morning, and my heart's already sin. How pure, how sweet the love, the wreath that you would pray for him. 'Cause God knows I fall just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day. Love with every stranger, the stranger the better. Love with every stranger, the stranger the better. Love with every stranger, the stranger the better. Love with every stranger, the stranger the better.
Possibly start to bring some movement back into your feet, into your ears, maybe into your wrists. You might bring your hands up over your head, long body stretch, before bringing your knees in to your chest and turning to your right side for fetal position. From fetal position, push up so that you're in a back in our seated positions on our mats. Hands will come to our legs or our lap. Our eyes can stay closed, or we could have a soft gaze towards the ground. We'll take one last breath in together and sigh it out. Our hands can come to heart center. Our eyes might flutter open. Thank you for practicing. Hopefully you feel better, and you can text me what you think about it.